Vanessa with Farmgirl Gardens Market, and welcome to my channel. And I have to do one of those reintroduction videos because I've had quite a lot of growth on this channel via new subscribers, and I just wanted to say thank you and welcome. If you're new to my channel and we haven't met yet, my name's Vanessa, and in addition to being a master composter and edible garden coach, for the last 15 years I have installed community gardens and grow spaces for nonprofits, churches, and schools all across DFW. So it is my great joy and passion to come alongside others, whether they're homeowners, community garden leaders like I was, or school garden educators. Help them discover grow methods that will work for their space, whether that's a large estate or a very small postage stamp backyard. And it's just really a joy and passion to do that. So welcome to my channel if you're new. And now that all that's over, let me also share that I had a baby 4 weeks ago, y'all. I know that typically you're only seeing like from here up, so I am sorry that I've been posting a little less frequently. But baby Jacob is now 4 weeks old. I'm getting to sleep a little bit more, and I'm getting back out into the garden. So I hope that to continue this journey with you. One of the things I wanted to show you and share with you about our project here is, in addition to running my business, Farmgirl Gardens Market, where I help individuals as a garden coach, I also have a nonprofit ministry, and that's the reason why we purchased this property. So we are purchasing this property, we purchased this property so that we could have a farm nonprofit, and so that is Farmgirl Gives. We are a 5013C in the state of Texas, so I will share more information with that in the story notes. But without further ado, this 1 acre section of our property is the farm project. So we have installed market beds up in the front pasture. We have been building some berms, not only to restore this land because there was such significant watershed, but also because we need to install a food forest here as part of our demonstration for the purpose of coming alongside those garden educators. So this has a berm that we designed for the last year, encouraging local tree fellers and horse owners to drop off their manure and their wood chips. And they did that for free for about a year, y'all, so that we could build this space out here. And if you can believe it, these things have actually self-volunteered. And so right here, we actually have pumpkins growing in this patch behind us. We are going to do a really big project with seed bombing these berms, but we're not quite there yet. But I am going to share that more on this channel, and I don't think I've ever shared this space with y'all yet. Something real funny, you guys, because we have donkeys and birds and bees and just a whole bunch of critters, we frequently pick up pumpkins after people are done using them and feed our livestock with them. The rest of it gets thrown in here in this system, and now look, we have a pumpkin patch, you guys. And so I just think it's really fun to have this space and to take you along with us in this journey. Now I want to do a little recap on the community garden demonstration garden that we installed in the very beginning of the summer. This is a grow space that I designed for our school garden and community garden educators. This is to model to them what they could do in approximately a 20-foot by 50-foot space using freely sourced or relatively cheap materials, and using a mixture of microhugelkultur, which is a method of layering very small sources of carbon and nitrogen so that you can actively compost in your grow space. The benefit to that, let me just show you this, the benefit to that is that that compost is feeding the vegetables at their roots in the soil where they need the nutrition most. And so it's a really effective way to get a grow space up and running for not a lot of money and for really good soil fertility and nutrition. So we've got 5 beds here that we've high diversity planted. Now, unfortunately, I just had a baby, y'all, and so I have not really touched this space in about 4 weeks. This is my first chance to really in-depth look over it and kind of see what the damage has been while I haven't been able to be out here with volunteers attending. So in this bed, we actually have some patty pan squash, and I just kind of want to show you that. If you're not familiar, patty pan squash is a French variety. It comes in a whole mess of colors, y'all. You can get it in white, yellow, variegated green. It's just beautiful, and the reason why I plant patty pan squash and why I love cooking with it, I mean, it's just beautiful, as you can see, but the reason is actually in Texas, and I know in a lot of places in the South, we get squash vine borer bad, and you practically can't even get squash. Once you get it up and growing, it seems like the SVB comes and gets it. If you plant a lot of different varieties, not just those those grocery store standard varieties like Black Beauty or straight or crooked neck squash, if you plant different varieties, it creates scent confusion, and it does help. Now, what's so interesting here in this very grow space, I can demonstrate a couple of things for you. This patty pan squash doesn't have any issues whatsoever, right? Look at these beautiful leaves. And this is an organically sustained garden. We don't do any treatments here that are not plant-based treatments and organically sustained. So what's so interesting about that is not a single thing wrong, insect bothering that guy, right? I have some volunteers. Let me show you that. This spaghetti squash, I actually didn't plant him here, but he's doing great here. And we also have some asparagus beans, or noodle beans, sorry. Actually, I think those are actually the same term. This is my first year growing it. Aren't those cute? But look at this. This spaghetti squash is a volunteer. Just like with the pumpkins, a volunteer is something that is desirable, but that you didn't intentionally plant it. I'm not really sure how the spaghetti squash got here. Again, we did a micro hugelkultur, so there's manure and wood chips and birds and animals bring in stuff all the time. So what's so fun about this, and this is just cattle panel trellis, you guys, you can curve it over with some T-post anchors, and it makes a really durable trellis for things that are heavy, like this spaghetti squash. But what's so funny is that, again, there are a mess of squash bug eggs here, right? I'm going to use tape to get those off. Another thing with squash bugs, two things that affect squash. I'm sorry, y'all, again, postpartum. Squash vine borer is a moth. It lays a bright brownish red small round egg on the stem. If you don't remove that egg will hatch into a little larva that will then tunnel into the stem and destroy the plant from the inside out. You'll know that that's happened because you'll have a beautiful plant one day and the next day it's gone, or you'll see the egg, or you'll see something called frass, which looks like sawdust coming out of the stem. If you can catch an SVB infestation quick enough, you can actually save your plant. But again, going back to the reason why we're doing diversity of squash types, different squash grow differently. So spaghetti squash and pumpkins actually put out multiple roots along their stem. So thankfully I've caught these guys soon enough to get them off this plant. But you know what, again, it's been a month. So there's a very real possibility that these squash bugs have affected this plant. But because this species of plant puts out multiple roots, sorry, I'm working while I'm talking, the plant can survive. And so if you'll look at this guy, not only do we have some, gosh, it's hard to do that, right there, you see that guy? Sorry, y'all, let me do this. Do you see all of these? I mean, this is 4 weeks of growth, and I didn't plant this guy. So this berm and this system is working, but that doesn't mean all of them are. And that's one thing I want to encourage you with, y'all. Gardening, if someone tells you that they have perfect methods and that they always get the same results, they're just lying, or they're buying their produce because in Texas especially, we've got a lot of extreme conditions. I mean, this is pretty brutal heat in the summer, not a lot of water. Pretty much the only place in the world that has more things that'll kill you is Australia. So we deal with a lot. And just know that every year, even though I've been gardening for more than half my life, every year I am learning. And so I just want to encourage you that if you have a success, capture what you think, what you observed resulted in that success. And if you have a failure, don't stop trying. I want to show you some failures. Too many people focus on success and you learn just as much in failure. This is another squash, but this is actually a crooked neck variety. And as you can see, the squash bugs have beaten him up. He's just not thriving. He was actually, you can see, gosh, sorry, I was hoping I could find a squash bug, but they've gone through this plant so quickly they're not even here anymore. This plant may survive, he might come back, but more than likely he's too stressed. This guy was planted 2 months before that volunteer spaghetti squash was. So the timing is not as important as the fertility of the soil and in the support of the plant and species that you're growing. So this guy has been in the ground for 2 months. not well supported, attacked, and likely not going to survive. That huge mess of spaghetti squash over there, I need to get better at knowing how to point on this, was a volunteer. I didn't plant him. I haven't been out here for about 3-4 weeks, but that's it. So just to share that, like, success is wonderful in the garden. Failure is also really important. You'll learn from that. And I always tell people, because I'm a master composter, that if you didn't grow something successfully, you actually have created pre-compost successfully. So don't throw away your failures. And literally, don't throw away your failures. If you have bean plants in the ground that are just not making, because this has also been a tricky year for some of us for beans, go ahead and incorporate those spent bean plants, especially the roots, back into your compost systems or into your hugelkultur beds, because beans fix nitrogen in their roots and they create little colonies for soil bacteria and organisms to live. And if you throw away your whole plant, you just wasted so much good work and energy. So put those back into your grow and soil systems and they will continue to give you dividends. Oh, there's one last thing I wanted to show you out here. As you can see, guys, my garden has missed me, and I'm going to get out here and make it good again, and I'm going to take you along with me on some of the repairs that we will make and some of the judgment calls I will make on why I'm not going to try and save something. Because that's another thing, gardeners. Sometimes you will baby a plant all summer. You'll spend so much time and energy and you won't get anything out of it, and then you'll feel defeated or like a failure. There are sometimes the plant just needs to go and you need to try again, and that's okay. Here's another volunteer, guys. I'm just finding all kinds of stuff out here. I also did not plant this. And I'm inclined to say this is either a cucamelon or actually a wild grape. I do grow cucamelons. They look like tiny little watermelons, but they're actually cucumbers. But actually, now that I'm looking at this looks like a lot more like wild grape than cucamelon. But I didn't plant this, so we're going to find out. We'll see what it is. Anyway, y'all, that's just kind of a quick life update and reintroduction. Again, I hope that you're well. I am really trying to respond to everyone. If you do have questions, please feel free to either leave a comment in the show notes, or you also can message me on YouTube, which I found out recently. So if I've missed your emails in the past, I've just now figured out that that's an option, and I'm working through them. I hope that you guys are well. I will include our volunteer wish list for Farmgirl Gives in the show notes if you want to learn more about our project, our volunteer opportunities, and those we serve. We grow for the North Texas Food Bank. I don't even remember if I mentioned that I have grown for them for a number of years, created, designed, and ran their garden systems on their Plano location, and now have this property to continue to do that good work and supporting them. And I'm also going to leave a link to the North Texas Food Bank because, y'all, they're doing amazing work right now in these times of COVID. Totally mobilized food pantries where they will show up on blacktop locations to provide food for those in need, and it's just a wonderful organization for North Texas and so important. So I just wanted to share their good work and ours and take you along with us in this journey. Until next time, y'all, I'll see ya.